Today is the day we're installing this M30B35 into this E28. Welcome back to another episode. I just want to say I apologize for the lack of episodes. I know this series has been kind of dormant lately. I've just been so busy, so I apologize for that, but we're getting back into it finally. So where we left off, we assembled this beautiful M30B35, fully refreshed, fully dressed up, cleaned up, modded. We're doing ITBs, headers, standalone, all that stuff. So if you're new here, that's what's going on. We're putting it in this 528E that I manual converted and all this stuff. You can see the prior videos, or if you want to keep up with the build, this, after this. But this episode, we're putting this bad boy in. It's been a long time coming. This poor engine stand needs a break from this heavy M30. I don't know if you can see on the camera, but I got the tire and wood holding it up in the front because this thing just tips the poor stand. So we got to do a couple last things on the engine, and then it's time to install. So shout out to one of my viewers in the comments of one of the last videos mentioned to me that I need to alcohol wipe these headers before I run it, otherwise I will ingrain fingerprints into them. I didn't even think about that, so thank you whoever that was. I got some isopropyl here, I got a rag. Let's clean these up before we stain them. I believe we just gotta install it. I think I tightened everything, it's been a while. I put the AC compressor on there. I wasn't going to. That's why it's not clean. That's the only ugly part of this engine. But I figured, why not retain AC in this car? If I use the existing compressor, it'll all hook up. This is actually the compressor off the M20. M20 and M30s run the same compressor. So I should be able to use AC once I recharge the system. The setup for the clutch and the pressure plate and stuff, if I haven't mentioned, we have the very pretty RHD lightweight flywheel, certified M30 necessity. Lightweight flywheels are always a nice addition. On top of that, we are using the early M30. I cheaped out from the E34 M5 pressure plate and clutch because that was just super expensive. We're using early M30 clutch kit, which is for the single mass flywheels. So yeah, we got a Sachs OEM M30 clutch setup, which I heard works nicely with the RHD. And then there's a couple things you need to note when using this combo. First off, since this is a lightweight flywheel single mass, you do not use the original dual mass bolts. They're too long, so you can actually use auto trans flex plate bolts because it's the same bolt pattern and they're short enough for this flywheel. And then this is something that is not probably well known. My buddy Hunter told me this. When you're using this clutch and pressure plate with the RHD flywheel, you have to get these special bolts because the stock ones are too long apparently. So he sent me the link for these. Not sure if I still have it, I'll see. But M8 by 1.25 by 12 millimeter East Coast bolts. Apparently these are what you need to mount, and we'll see how this all comes together. So, a few things to note there, but otherwise I believe this whole setup should work really nicely. So the RHD flywheel does have the oversized hole here for the dowel. You do not want to not do that. And these already have some sort of factory Loctiting on them. Flywheel torque, we're looking at 77 foot-pounds. The alignment tool that came with this clutch does not fit the pilot bearing, which is weird. I don't know why that always seems to happen, but we should be alright. I had a spare. Okay. I'm going to put medium strength thread locker on these pressure plate bolts just in case. We just want to bring it down evenly. I'm not gonna install the transmission on the engine. It just really makes it a pain in the ass. Angling it in and stuff, it just makes it a lot harder. Just get a friend and bench lift the trans underneath the car, and it's usually a much easier experience. So. That's as far as we can go. I don't have the hoist set to its furthest length because an M30 actually weighs more than a quarter ton, so I decided I should, play it safe. But I think this is pretty solid, and now I'm just gonna start slowly lowering it. Actually, I should probably bring it out a little bit. Touching in the back, and this AC compressor's in our way a little bit. We're wedged, I gotta go. This is when it gets hard, when you put the clutch and the flywheel on. I didn't even think about it. I thought it'd be easy to install it with those on, and now it's coming around and biting me because instead of just going straight down, they're getting in the way. We're kind of stuck. This ain't good because I don't want to take that AC off and I don't want to take that clutch off, so I don't know what to do here. Okay, so conveniently, if you take this cowl off, you can unbolt the top of the condenser and then you can kind of slide it in. So I think, not really slide it, but you can tilt it in. You got a little bit of play. Now I think if I do this while simultaneously lowering the engine, I think I'll be able to swing everything in. Oh yeah. Alright, we're gonna clear right there. Okay. Oh, that went way too fast. Sent the AC condenser into the AC compressor. That was a nice meeting. Hopefully I didn't just ruin that. This thing's kind of big in this engine bay, dude. Wow. I'm gonna start always using a ratchet strap. It makes this way easier. Oh. Okay, we got headers on the firewall. Go down to clear those. Hey, it looks like the header's clear though. So that's cool. Okay, so I actually had to go down there and loosen up the motor mount, and so I could angle it, because the angle's just hard. I had to bring it this way. It's always a pain with these inline sixes because how goofy they sit, but I got the motor mount loose and I got the stud through, so we can let this down all the way. I think it's already kind of going. Yep, look at that. So now the engine's tilting because there's no trans, so I think what I'm going to do is actually get under there and put the trans up. I think I'm going to one-man it, which is not ever a good time, but I don't know, I kind of want to get it done. And this episode was going to start with this, and then I was going to be in Europe and I was going to finish, but I don't want to leave without having a video uploaded, so this is just going to be a drivetrain install, engine, trans, and then the next episode, once I'm back home, we'll hook everything up, get to the ITBs and stuff. I just want something, so this will probably be a little bit of a mini episode, but. Alright, it's time for my favorite game. And that's called one-manning a transmission. Always a good time. Sometimes I'm good at this, sometimes I struggle. We'll see what day it is for me. First battle's getting it on the jack. The angle itself is actually not too bad either. So we will start going up. I might actually have to pull the sway bar down. Oh yeah, absolutely gonna have to take the sway bar off. 1 second. Okay. Sway bar down. Now engine can tilt and we can get this in. Alright, so now before we get the engine and the trans mounts in place, we want to put all the linkage up because right now is the easiest time because you have the most gap. Now there is a bracket we're going to have to weld here, but we obviously want everything to be in place until it is time. So this goes just like that. Then we got to put on the bitch clip. Alright, we're going to get the slave up in there because it's easy to do right now. Let's see, did I adjust the line? Oh yeah, I did, nice. I put the line on the right way so that it actually can be installed. Slave on this car is actually super easy to get to. Like, it just kind of fits nice. So that's that. Tighten this up. Okay, so this is kind of interesting. It's obviously a one-way trans brace, like it's not symmetrical, and it looks like doing it like this will work. The old auto trans stuff is these two. The car has an existing bolt right there, but not on this side. So it looks like we take one of these, slide it in, the tracks are there, which is nice, and then this should bolt up. Should work, yep, there we go. Slide it over. So I'm gonna take one of these in here. Transmission is bolted up and mounted. We will come back to this when I can get a hold of someone to weld it. Now we can go tighten down the engine mounts since everything is set where it's supposed to be set. Okay, now this side you got the motor mount ground that we have to put on. Motor mounts on. Now I think we will end with the starter. We might as well just bolt that on because it's very easy to do without the ITBs on. 450-pound starter in there. And we hate M30 starter bolts. That's one, that's two. So yeah, these starter bolts absolutely suck. I actually have this, angled wrench here that actually fits on here. It actually fits kind of good. So I think this is the tool you kind of need to do this job. Alright. Starter is on, and unfortunately that's a wrap for this episode. Short and sweet because I'm leaving for Europe very soon. I just need to get this engine in here because I didn't want it on the back of my mind, and I wanted to put the S54 up on the stand to kind of clean up the garage. So it was long overdue. I don't have any more time to go any further with this. When I come back, we'll continue, get everything hooked up, get the ITBs on there, and get this thing running. But I think it'd be best to just keep an episode going for you guys because I hate to leave you, waiting for so long. I think that's real lame, and it's been a long time. So at least we did a little quick video getting the drivetrain installed. So I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.